Positive thinking has taken up quite a lot of attention in mainstream headlines and in psychology headlines. It's something that you're probably all well familiar of, but what exactly does positive thinking have on our psychological and mental well-being? Well, on this week's episode of GetPsyched, we're going to take a look into that. Welcome guys to another week's episode of GetPsyched, and like I said, this week we're going to take a look at the power of positive thinking. Now, as we go through this video, I'm going to give you a little bit of a definition as to what positive thinking is, and some of the tips based on psychological research that you can apply to your own life to improve your positive thinking and reap the rewards from it. So before we go any further, one of the best things that we could do is to give a definition of positive thinking, and there's no better way to do that than to tell you what positive thinking isn't. It isn't ignoring everything that's negative or looking through the world with rose-tinted glasses. Fundamentally, what it means is being able to have a positive outlook on the world no matter the circumstances, even if they're negative. A psychologist named Martin Seligman gives an explanatory style to understanding positive thinking and how it applies to our own lives. He argues that positive thinkers fundamentally can absorb the good things that happen to them and can see their role in those good things, but can also see bad things as temporary and external to themselves. Fundamentally, that means that the bad things that happen to these positive thinkers are external. They don't see them as something that are going to last. On the other hand, negative thinkers, or those who lack positive thinking capabilities, often blame themselves when they're not responsible, and they see these negative circumstances as something that's expected and that is permanent. So now that we've got a little bit of an understanding of what positive thinking is, what exactly can positive thinking do for you? Well, positive thinking has been given quite a bit of headlines in the mainstream, largely due to kind of pop psychology books like The Secret that say that they have the secret to success, and it's fundamentally based in positive thinking. However, positive thinking really does have true empirical standpoints in psychological research. It's been known to lower stress, lower anxiety, improve lifespan, improve the chances of contracting contagious diseases, even like a common cold. And in one recent study of up to 1,500 older adults, having a positive thinking pattern has been shown to decrease frailty going into old age. So not only does positive thinking have really profound effects on our mental and emotional well-being, it also has physiological ramifications for better. So positive thinking can give us a real protection to things like stress, but it's also clear from the literature that those who have better positive thinking patterns also have healthier lifestyles, like fitness and exercise regimes, for example. So what can you do to improve your positive thinking patterns and reap these mental, emotional and physical rewards? Well, the first thing that you can do is to understand your internal monologue. This is something that we all have, and if you're an avid Scrubs watcher, you'll know that JD has a really profound internal monologue, and it's something that follows him about every day. It's the same for all of us, really. What's important here is to pay attention to what your inner monologue tells you in different situations, both positive and negative. If going into a positive situation or having a positive outcome and your inner monologue says that these things were external, or they're the responsibility of somebody else, or this person had a lot to do with this being a positive thing and not really you, then you can start to see that your positive thinking patterns maybe aren't that great. The same goes for when negative situations occur, for example. So if that happens and your inner monologue blames you and says that those negative situations are probably expected, or these things just happen to you and they're permanent, then again you can start to see that there's issues with your positive outlook. So for me, for example, when a situation goes bad, one of the things that I fixate on is that it's going to get worse, that this is like a snowball effect and there's nothing really I can do or control about it. One of the things that I can do when I experience these negative circumstances is understand the success that I've had so far and look back at examples in my life when I've experienced negative situations before. By understanding that I've both experienced these negative situations before and come out of it often better helps with that positive outlook when I experience more negative situations in the future. The next thing that you can do to improve your positive thinking pattern is to understand the blame game. Now, what I mean by this is attributing realistic blame for the factors that contribute to situations going wrong. For example, positive thinkers don't always blame other people for situations going bad. They also don't always blame themselves. What fundamentally happens is that they're realistic in that blame. If a situation goes bad and it's because of them or they hold responsibility for that, they're mature enough and understand the development potentials in blaming themselves and learning from it. Likewise, if a situation goes bad and it's the responsibility of somebody else, They're not quick to just blame themselves, they understand the roles of others in situations. And like anything, when establishing new habits or thinking patterns, such like positive thinking patterns, it's important to start small. Research and psychological research has shown that when people are trying to cultivate new habits, one of the worst things they can do is to try and change everything at once overnight. They're much more likely to fail, and if you take baby steps and implement small behaviours to improve your positive thinking patterns, you're much more likely to see long-term rewards. So for example, one of your small steps could be a daily reflection on your internal monologue and what it's been saying to you that day. You can make reflective notes, you can jot it down on your phone, or you can just reflect on it in your head. These small steps in developing self-awareness of your positive thinking patterns can have real positive implications further down the line. So guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Today we've been looking at... what have we been looking at? Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. This week we've been looking at the power of positive thinking. We've been looking at a definition of positive thinking, what some psychologists say about positive thinking, and some of the psychological and empirically backed tips that you can use to improve your positive thinking patterns. Thanks so much for watching guys, and hopefully catch you next week.